Welcome, welcome. Today's episode is all about changing the game. If you're committed to your change, if you're committed to your greatness, you want to live an extraordinary life, then you need to take extraordinary action consistently. My name is Marcel Hansen, and you're listening to Small Habits, Big Changes. Let's dive in. Today, we're going to touch on tracking and why it is vital that you are writing this down and not just trying to remember it in your head. See, our brains are designed to delete and distort things, to generalize. It's what keeps us safe. It answers the questions that we cannot recall, and they're often incorrect. Take in count, an example would be eyewitness accounts. We know for a fact most of the time, these people are, as a witness, I've never been witness to something that I've had to list. I don't know how well I do, but many people cannot recall accurately the characteristics, the clothing, the features, the height, the weight, the skin color of someone that has just committed a crime or been seen, and they're supposed to be taking down witness accounts. We're just generally very bad at it. It's not what our brain is meant to do. So our brain distorts things, deletes a little bit here, and fills in the gap of what we cannot recall. For this reason alone, we don't want to keep track of our extraordinary actions in our brain. We don't want to rely on our memory to know whether or not we did a certain task or performed a certain something on a particular day. We want to log it in our calendar. We want to keep it in a journal. We want to track it on a tracking sheet. After 25 years of tracking a myriad of biometrics and activities in my life, I'm pretty certain that the following statement is accurate. Regardless of what you're looking at, whether you're looking at your hydration, your movement, your nutrition, quality sleep, any biometric of your resting heart rate, your blood pressure, how you're feeling. I'm going to go so far as to say if you're not tracking, then you don't know, because many influencing factors happen on any given day. The sun could have been out. It could have been cloudy. You could have been additionally stressed. You would have had another factor infiltrate the scene and affect those results. And you just don't know if you're not tracking. So I highly encourage tracking for any sustainable change. And tracking can look like a lot of different things. One, tracking is writing down your goals morning and night. It could be just a meditative journal full of affirmations and or incantations that you repeat. Whether or not you believe in that or not, my place to say. I have manifested the life that I have wanted in about 95% of what I've ever set out to manifest, I have manifest. Now, mind you, the 5% that's missing is huge in my life. However, setting goals, reaching goals, blowing past goals, striving for goals, stretching my potential, these are things I know very well. Let's put it that way. And I attribute a fair amount of my success to that writing, to that journaling, to that daily goal writing, to the tracking of these various biometrics and metrics that are related to my area of growth that I'm interested in. So what I do not necessarily is exactly what you would do. You need to know what you want, your end goal, where you want to be, say what your legacy is on your deathbed, looking back, and we want to reverse engineer. So, you're going to act very differently if you want to grow a business and be a leader or of a large scale business. You're going to behave differently than if you want to be a professional athlete. There's going to be some overlap, but they're going to go in two different directions. The trajectory of those goals could be quite different. And so we want to know where we're going in order to get there. We don't need to know how, but we need to know where. We need to know what it is that we're interested in, that we want to dive into. And if that changes, then it changes. But creativity follows commitment. And if you know this, you know how profound it is. You want to write things down. I can't emphasize that enough. I know many of you want to keep it in a smartphone, on a digital pad. I strongly encourage you to write it down with hand, pen, pencil, paper. I mean, let's be honest. Being a human is a challenge. There's a lot of moving parts. It's not simple at first. Being an adult, figuring out how life works, but with structure and the integration of a routine that suits you with adventure, life is amazing. Like, you have so many opportunities. I'd say that tracking is essential for the majority of people looking for success in any area of life. Tracking it, knowing yourself, building that self-awareness through the tracking mechanism, becoming self-aware, spending time on your own. I think being alone is essential to figure out how you behave and how you want to behave outside of the influence of someone close to you, whether that's a roommate or a lover or a parent. Need to spend time alone, and a good chunk of it. Need to learn to depend on the knowledge that you have of yourself to get you from point A to point B. And the more open you are about learning about yourself, it will actually invite vibrationally on a frequency basis other connections into your life with such synchronicity. People that you're meant to meet, you will meet, and you will cross paths. You're currently probably crossing paths with people you're supposed to meet all the time, but you're not ready. You're not self-aware enough. You are distracted. And so my hope for you all is to gain a little bit of attention, focus on your North Star, what your legacy is, what you want your legacy to be. Most people are content with having a plan for their day. And I would argue that you cannot have productive plan for your day if you do not have a plan for your life. It's the reverse engineer. We're going to know what you want, where you want to go, and then we'll reverse engineer. The likelihood of you having a well-planned day after one well-planned day, after another well-planned day, and then landing at your end result, almost impossible. You're more likely to win the lottery half a dozen times. We're going to go back to the stable table because that's where the fundamental framework is for self-awareness, for personal commitment, for consistency, for reliability, accountability, for strength, for calmness, for knowledge, for spiritual grounding. You can get to all of these things. You can embody all of these characteristics if you just take care of yourself. You're getting hydrated every day. You are tracking your hydration. You are moving your body each and every day. Be great if you could move it outside. Walking in the morning with the sunrise, walking in the evening after dinner, the sunset, tracking it, tracking your nutrition, doing meal planning, meal prepping, either hiring a chef or supplementing some of that ingenuity if you're not creative and you don't want to focus on new recipes and a variety of foods as the seasons change. Get some expert advice. Hire a nutritionalist, a chef, someone to supplement what you're creating just to spice things up. And you definitely want to be tracking that along with your sleep. Now, I'm a big proponent of wearable. I think that they're amazing. I've tracked for years and years, in fact, almost 2 decades without a wearable, and I love wearables. Now, I'll get a link in the show notes if you want to try out the Whoop. I love the Whoop. I also use the Oura Ring. I have an 8 sleep. I'm happy to share these things with you, but these are things that have helped me where I'm at now. And I really strongly encourage people to look at what your commitment level is and what your goals are. And if personal wellness and emotional fitness and regulation are goals of yours, you want to feel better, you want to be calm, you want to be able to take on adventure, but also take on stress in a way that you're able to release it so you can sleep soundly at night and so you can play with your kids in the daytime and not be pent up from what's gone on that you're holding on to in the past. Resentments, anger, guilt, shame. If you want to be able to regulate your emotions and live life fully, reach out to me. shoot me a text at the Wellness Community. It's 206-483-2960. And in a short conversation, private between you and I, complimentary, I'm happy to steer you in the right direction from the information that you get. I have a few questions for you. I need to ask those, get the answers, and I can give you some good insight as to where to get going. If you're at the very base and you've never tracked, you have no idea what you're doing, I can definitely help you out. If you are Brian Johnson and you spend $2 million a year measuring each and every metric, I still think I have insight for you, but I'm probably not your mentor there. But anywhere in between, I bet I have some insight that would help get you from point A to point B and help you realign and micro correct, get back on your way in short order. And altruistically, that's my task here, to be of service. So if you have any questions, if you want just it's a text only and it's private consult, shoot me a message. You can text the word yes to 206-483-2960, and it's completely free for you. I do recommend a couple apps and a couple wearables that I think some are free and some do have charge, and I think they're well worth it. But it depends on where you're at. I will say that for a good 17 years, I tracked solely on paper. I still have those tracking sheets, and they are invaluable. That's like looking back at a journal and seeing where you were at and how far you've come. Really valuable information. I want that for everyone. I hope that if you're serious about making change as we approach this new year, it's a great time to dive in, see what you can make of the coming year. To be honest, you can get going right now and fumble around for several weeks before we get there, so you're primed and ready. So I encourage you to start today, whether it's tracking your hydration, your movement, your nutrition, your sleep, whether it's checking your blood pressure each and every day, same time, same machine. If we can get to a point of consistency, then the data is valuable to us. Think about that. Things you do each and every day with consistency become dependable. So that's it for today. Tracking is key. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you need to take extraordinary action consistently, daily. Let's get to it. Until next time, be awesome. Thank you so much for listening today. If you feel any part of this episode resonated with you, then please consider sharing it with a friend who may also find value in it. And remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And before you go, did you know we have a fantastic free text community? If you want more bite-sized health hacks and reminders delivered directly to your phone, absolutely free, then text keyword YES to 206-483-2960. Again, that's keyword YES to 206-483-2960. And we'll see you on the inside.